This is ECommerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of ECommerce Uncensored. This is episode number 82. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso
and Paul Chu.
We have a serious setup going on here right now.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah.
This is really exciting for a couple of reasons, but for the main reason is like we were invited to go. Well, first of all, let's first get into what today's topic is going to be about, because I think it's going to be very insightful and beneficial for people to listen to this particular podcast, because not only are we going to be talking about a recent experience of ours, but I think that when you have a business, you just want as many people to buy as possible. And the truth is, not everybody is your customer. And why that is important is because if you start from that point, not everybody is your customer, you can reverse engineer your marketing.
Yeah,
right?
You know exactly who you're going after.
You know exactly who you're going after and who you don't want to go after. And something just happened here that we're going to get into, and I think that people are really going to be able to relate with or to. Now, back to our excitement. We were asked to record a couple, 2 or 3, we don't really know how many, podcasts at the Clayvo event. And I don't even know the name of this thing.
Well, it's Clayvo Boston.
Clayvo Boston.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've watched this throughout the last week. I've been cutting up clips of our podcast, and I've been putting up on Instagram and doing all kinds of things with it. And it was funny how when we were recording last episode and we introduced this conference that they're having, we had no idea until right after we finished recording last week. We got an email from Clayvo, and they're like, "Hey, we were throwing around some ideas about having some podcasts." Or picking a podcast to come to our conference and actually record at the podcast.
Before that, we even finished reading it. We were like, we're there.
Yeah.
So basically, we are going to be recording a couple of podcasts at Clayvo's event. What's even cooler, or what is another cool part of that, because that's pretty awesome, first of all, they're going to be exposed to other people. But the keynote of the event is Ezra Firestone. And if you aren't familiar with Ezra is a pretty cool kind of guy, calm dude, grew his e-commerce website in the last couple of years to like $25 million, really talks a lot about work-life balance, about how he spends a lot of time with, developing his relationship with his wife as much as he does his businesses. And he tries to keep like a really nice balance. And I like his sort of approach, and he basically is saying is like, look, you can still be successful and not have to do the quote unquote Gary V approach.
Well, I see him too. I see the same thing. I follow him on Instagram. I follow his story, and I do notice that kind of thing. Like, he doesn't ever really bring his business into his social engagement.
No, he's
very separated, and it's nice because you can see that he's actually enjoying life, which is what we talk about as well. Having that
flexibility,
yeah, being able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, and what's even cooler is that Ezra reached out to us a few months back, or a few years back, or a year back, whatever.
It was like a year ago, I think. We first talked about some of his extensions that he has for Shopify, his Zipify. It was actually part of our top 5 list of softwares that we use. Yeah,
he reached out to us and said, "Hey, I'd like to be on the show." We wrote him back, and then we haven't heard from him. Now, look, we joke around and we say, whatever. But the truth is like the guy has like 2 giant businesses. He has his own I get it. Right? He's busy, right? Which is fine. I mean, we're busy too, and the truth is like there are some people we make it a point to making ourselves available to, and there are some people who we don't. And look, we've been doing this for 2 years. We're kind of new on the scene, and I don't really blame him for not knowing whether or not this would be something worthwhile for him. Now, go to Gary Vee, and Gary Vee's like, I'll go on anybody's show. I don't care how many people. He's like, I'm just looking for that one person. And there's just different philosophies. So we didn't take it personally. So getting back to the story, is like we tagged him in our last episode. He reached out to us and said, look, guys, I'm sorry for being MIA. I still would love to come on the show. So we're like, all right, cool. Hey, man, like, any chance we can make this happen in Boston? Because he's going to be the keynote, as I said. And it was just like, it made sense. Like, and I said to him, like, yo, I think this would be good for everybody. You're the keynote. We're going to be recording our podcast. I'm sure Clayvo would love the fact that we have him on our podcast at their show. And, like, he wrote back, like, he didn't even, like, answer. He's like, 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Do I need to bring a mic?
Yeah.
do I need to bring a mic? They're like, nah, man. So that leads into the other part of this that's pretty exciting, is when we were invited to this podcast or this show, we went out and just like spent like $1,000
Some new equipment.
on new equipment that's a little bit more portable.
Yeah, portable. Meanwhile, we have wires hanging. Like Jason and I, we just got the equipment yesterday. Jason and I had a meeting all day yesterday. We came back at like 3 o'clock, and we just like opened all the boxes.
Yeah,
And we're like, we gotta go. It was 5 o'clock before we know it. We had to leave.
yeah, we had to leave.
We came in today, and there was just like it was like a disaster.
Yeah. So we're going to be at Clayvo. We're going to be recording this podcast. If you can make the show, that's awesome. I believe you sign up at clayvo.com/Boston, I believe. Tickets are, I believe, $799 plus you have a hotel.
That's an early bird special, so you got to get on that.
Right.
I don't even know. Like last week when I checked it, it was I don't even know what it is now.
Yeah.
But check it out.
You have something to say here, Kev?
Yeah, I just wanted to give the specifics about it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
it's September 13th and 14th in Boston, as Jason said. You can go to clayvo.com/Boston to get your tickets, and it's basically an e-commerce marketing it's for marketers and store owners, where they're gonna talk about all kinds of Shopify, BigCommerce, Google. I got to remember to talk directly into this mic. I kind of move.
Yeah, really.
You can hear me. Hear the differences.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that. And it's gonna be a bunch of stuff, and it's gonna be a lot of great info. It's a 2-day event. And you got to go to sign up because, as you said, the keynote is by Ezra Firestone. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it totally.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't, we're still getting emails from people who are signing up for Clayvo. We're thinking about Clayvo. You guys, you have to get on it. Today, I was working on one of our new clients' Clayvo accounts, and for whatever reason, the Gothic, what is it? What is the font? The
Gothic. Yeah, Gothic.
No, there's another one.
Century Gothic?
Century Gothic, right. Wasn't working. And they sat on there, literally, the guy's like chatting with me, and he's like going in there and like fixing it. Like, oh, okay, let me see if I can recreate this problem. And he sat there for a half hour, like working out. I mean, it turned out to be like a bug that they need to fix with like Macs and their system. But, dude, they're awesome.
And you're talking about like a little personalization. It's not even like, oh, I can't get to the flow library or this flow's not working. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And, so Clayvo, ecommerceuncensored.com/email will redirect you to Clayvo. Sign up for an account. The first 250 people on your list are free. After that, there's a sliding scale. But I am very confident if you use it and you use it the correct way, correctly, you will make a ton of money. Now, also, now this is something that I've learned. I've been offering to set up 2 flows for people, but unless you're making sales, unless you have sales, it's going to be very difficult for me to do anything for you, right? Like setting up flows generically without any kind of sales is not really what you need me for. So if you sign up to Clayvo and you have some orders, I'm happy to give you 2 free flows. I'll put them in there. I'll create them. All you have to do is email me, jason@ecommerceuncensored.com, and I'll take care of that for you. Now, I just want to move on, Kev, because that was long-winded. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so today's episode is going to be about not everyone being your customer. And it's something that today, in fact, and we're always transparent, always. Like, we're never, like, trying to be those kind of people, like, nothing's ever wrong, because it's not reality. I don't care how good you are at what you do, there's always going to be something going on, right? In this particular case, we have a client who we've been working with for 13 years in some capacity.
Right.
Right. Recently, a couple years ago, they signed up with us for e-commerce, and today they basically wanted to pause what we were doing, right? Not a huge store. You know, we've spoken about them before, that most of their business is like brick and mortar, very generic product.
Yeah, I think in episode number 79 or something.
Yeah,
I forget what number it was, but we talked about the things that we were dealing with them in more specific. So if you
go check that out.
I was hoping you would notice that. This mic catches everything.
Yeah, so go check that out. But
especially having these microphones, I can hear.
Yeah,
microphones,
headphones. Yes, we got new equipment. $1,000. I got headphones. We got new mics. It's awesome. But anyway, so because Kevin deals with the financial side of the business, although now we have a bookkeeper, he's very close to it. When we lose a client, Kevin takes it very personally. Very personally. Like very personally, very upset. Our business is doing well as a whole, but we do lose clients for whatever reason. Right? Like there's...
Yeah, I mean, I know you say I take it personally.
Dude, you had steam coming out of your ears. Paul?
I don't know if it's just personally.
He was a little upset.
Yeah, I was.
Rightfully
I was
so.
upset.
Right. You were upset. See, I look at it like this. They were a pain in the ass, number one. We did more work than we were paid for. They didn't appreciate us, and I would rather spend that time trying to find people who would. Look, when we lose a client, we all lose money. It's just the way it is here, right? Like when we lose money. But I much rather work with people who want to work with us.
It was just hard. Not hard on a personal level. It was just we were having really great success with them in my eyes. And the numbers, it didn't make sense to really not work with us anymore. So it was just like, it was kind of a thing that I didn't quite understand. And it was becoming such a great case study for us that it just didn't, this whole thing doesn't make sense. And they were just, that's the way. And yesterday, you and I talked about in the car, I was saying to you, like, man, it's like, we're working for some of these clients that are paying us a certain amount, and we're actually working for them more than these other clients that we should be putting more attention to, that are actually, investing more in us.
Right.
That are like, appreciating our work more than this certain client.
But everybody has different needs. Everybody expects different things. Everybody, defines success differently. And why sit there and fight with these guys to try to explain or to try to convince them that what we're doing is great when we have clients who refer us, who love what we do, who don't even call us, don't even bother us. We just, get them leads, make them money, and they're happy.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's not like my reaction to losing them was nothing like, it wasn't as much the money that we're going to be losing. It was more about,
they don't like you. So stop. They don't like you. But let's not get off topic. But this is not about us today. This is really about how you, as a e-commerce business owner, how you can get away. Because even if you have a giant store, you have a big, let's say like you scale your store, you figure out how to use Facebook ads and you scale your store, right? There are still audiences that will work and audiences that won't work, right? So everybody is not your customer, right? And I think as business owners, as marketers, what we do, and this may be freeing to some of you who are running ads or who are doing things, is like we try to, we think there is like this secret sauce to running like Facebook ads or running our marketing. Like there's a secret to it that we have to try to trick people into buying our product with some like really clever marketing. Really, when really it comes down to like, are they your customer or not? And if they're not, don't waste time on them. If your customers don't buy from you, your product sucks. It's that simple, right? It's not any more complicated than that. And I think that's the problem is like we get so caught up in the funnel, in the like, yeah, those things work after people are buying and after you have a process that's working. But really, when it comes down to it, is like everybody is not going to be your client. And if you happen to trick 20,000 people who aren't your clients into buying your product, they are going to be pains in the asses like these guys are.
Yeah.
These guys are not our clients. I don't care how much you like them or thought they liked you, because they don't. I don't care how long you've worked with them. There's no other variable that matters. The only variable that matters is they're not our ideal or our client. They're just not. They don't think the way they need to think. They don't think the way that we want them to think. They don't listen to us. There's always something out there that's greater. Everybody has a brother or a cousin who does what we do, and they'll do it better than us. There's just all these things that they come up with that make them just not our client.
And I think this has become more clear to us the more like our client list has grown, and we've been able to take a step back and kind of look at everyone that we're dealing with, and just look at like the clients that we have, that we love to have, that don't give us a hard time, that we can get results for. Because even though you're not giving us a hard time, if we don't give you results, then it's not a right fit either.
Right.
So, we look at our client list and we see some are much better than others, and why not accelerate that area
work
of
with
work?
more people like
Right.
that.
It always goes back to the 80-20 rule, no matter what scenario it is.
And was I with you? I don't know if I was with you or I was somewhere else. I was talking about this with somebody. They're like, "Oh, so how's business?" It might have been at golf or something. And I'm like, it's funny. Like, we're shrinking our customer base, but we're working with more of the people we want to work with, or who.
Boom.
Oh.
Sorry, punch the new mic.
Yeah, we don't have those shock mounts yet. We haven't
I
figured
don't know
out.
if that would help. The springs in these arms are very loud.
Oh yeah,
See?
that's what it
Hear
was
that?
from.
Yeah, but it's vibrating into the here.
Yeah.
This would move and keep the camera from getting that vibration. But
We're
anyway,
working it out. We're working out the
working
new
it
equipment.
we're working it out. But yeah, I mean, every business wants to make money. And every business, and Kevin, look, this was something when I first came here that was like an issue, right? Even Dan said to me, he's like, "I'll take everybody's money."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like, is that really?
When you're at that point, you kind of
You don't have a choice.
you don't have a choice.
And everybody wants money, but like, if we took the time to really please the people who we should be working with, we would free ourselves up, because we'd be working with people that don't need us to spoon feed them, and B, we would be much happier because we wouldn't be fighting with these guys, or we wouldn't be having to convince them, And something we're doing here as a studio is learning to walk away.
Yeah, I think every one of these things has been, a teachable moment for all of us. And we learn from every time someone leaves or someone comes, we learn, a new thing, and how we can pinpoint our specific client and what's going to be best for us moving forward.
Yeah, and it's important for you as a store owner to know who that client is, know who you want to buy from you, right? Like, know who you want to deal with, who you want to work with, right? Like, if you just get people buying your crap, like, because you did some sort of like sneaky marketing thing, it's like they never become a good client. They may buy once, they'll never buy again.
Yeah, they're not loyal. They'll just they're looking for, the best deal out there or whatever it may be. They'll just search for those things or online. They're not going to come back to you every time. They're just,
and it's like
it costs money to get that person up front. We've always talked about that cost of acquisition. So you're going to put money towards that person and may not make money on the first sale. The hope is that you make it over and over and over again. So if you're going after the wrong customer or the wrong client, then you're kind of like going down that wrong route where you're just in a losing proposition forever with these people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like something that comes to my head is like, let's say like Dunkin' Donuts started selling your favorite Starbucks coffee, and they're like, "Hey, we make this caramel macchiato, whatever, better than Starbucks does," right? Like you'll trick them into coming to Dunkin' Donuts, and then they come there and they don't like it. It's not as good. They're not really your customer. That's like a Starbucks customer, right? Like, it's just two different people. And just tricking them to come in to buy is not going to, it's not a good model moving forward or for the future, right? You want the people who are the right people. You don't want the people who are the wrong people. If you're selling premium products, stop trying to sell to people who don't have money, right? Like it's the same kind of, right? A car, right? Like, if you can't afford a Lamborghini...
Did I mention how much I love the Dunkin' Donuts app?
No.
No.
Have you guys used it?
No.
Speaking of Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
I don't like Dunkin' Donuts.
I like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. You order it on your phone, and then it's there ready for you to pick up when you get there.
Yeah, you just I do that with pizza. I do that with that. You do that with
Everything
anything
else.
right? But no, I mean it's
Sorry to
seriously
get off topic.
And why that should be like freeing for you marketing your website is like you don't have to get clever. Like just put your product in front of the right people and have something that they want and people will buy.
And in the end, you're going to save yourselves time. Like losing this client today is going to free us up to do a lot of other things that benefit the business in the long run.
Right.
And we'll go in the direction that we want to go in. We'll be able to focus on our new website. We'll be able to, push our content out to people who we want to see it and things like that. And it's like you said, it's a freeing moment, and you got to take advantage of that.
You got to take advantage of that.
I think I think we do have a lot of listeners. I don't know if it's a lot. I'm not really sure, but I think we do have a lot of listeners who are marketing people as well. I don't think we have, just e-commerce store owners. I think we do have other people that are like us or who are managing, e-commerce websites. So I think if you're running an agency like ours, I think you need to think about these kinds of things.
Yeah, and it's a concept that I first heard from Russell Brunson like 5 years ago. And he's like, he doesn't talk about it exactly like this, but he's like, he has like a dream 100 list, like, and then he'll say like, who's your perfect customer? Who's your ideal customer? Try to work with them. Don't try to work with like everybody who's just going to be a pain in the ass. These guys were a complete drain. Every time they wanted to talk to us, it was like when we were done with the conversation, we were like, why do we work with them?
You're right.
Yes or no?
And every time before we got on the phone call, we'd be like, are they going to fire us now?
Right.
Is this it?
Right.
Like, are we going to have to like, prove ourselves and like
now we never have to
scratch
worry
and
about that
claw
again
for our jobs?
Now we don't have to worry about that again.
Yeah.
We know, and look, I don't like that the studio's losing the money. I don't like that it trickles down to all of us in one way or another. But at the same time, I would much rather put that time in trying to get like more people like some of our other clients who actually love doing business with us.
Right.
And, it's nice because when you have clients like that or customers who are buying from you on, in your e-commerce store, it's very easy to get them to refer you, right? We have a client right here that referred us to another client down the road, and they both love us, right? Same thing with you. You're selling a product. If that person is the right person who loves your product, it's very easy for you to say, hey, Kevin, hey, Paul, do you know anybody who may benefit from our system or our service or our product or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just an easier thing. I mean, we walked in there, we didn't have to sell them. They were like basically like, hey, when can we give you the check? We're like,
yeah, and we went into the back end of his like client portal, this same guy, and he's like, yeah, reach out to all these other guys who are on this list. Yeah. Get a hold of them. Once they know that you work with us, you're going to be in.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of shit.
It's much easier to do that. Josh, I know you're listening, buddy. We have a guy named Josh. I don't know what's his last name.
I can't remember. I don't remember his last name.
Josh is in our Facebook group, ECommerceUncensored.com /Facebook. Facebook. That will that will redirect you to our Facebook group, and it's pretty small right now, but it's very active, and there's a lot of awesome people in there asking a lot of awesome questions. But Josh specifically gets in there and asks very questions often. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions that he asked was about reviews and whether or not he should solicit reviews. And he was like, well, I think, reviews are better if they're not solicited. And, I wrote back, I'm like, hey man, like I get it, but a solicited review is better than no review. Right?
Well, in most cases, an unsolicited review is more than likely a negative review. And a lot of times I see.
Yes, a lot of times that is correct.
So if you don't ask, the only time people are going to take the time to go and review a product or a service is when they're pissed off.
Or if they really like it and you send them an email and say, hey, can you review my product? Right. Then they'll go do it. So
exactly.
So basically what I'm trying to say is that if people who like your stuff, bring your stuff to attention to somebody else or leave a review or something like that, it's much easier than to do that than it is to go knocking on doors. In our case, trying to find clients. In your case, paying for ads to find clients or customers, right?
Yeah, we talked about that. We've talked about that in the past. He's like, these referral things that can come from people and are some of your best clients that you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're also taking someone that they know. It's not like you're asking them to trust you as a business right off the bat. They're actually trusting someone that they've already instilled their trust in.
Yeah, and we as business owners, I think I started talking about this, is like got it like. Money is like the thing, right? It's like, but there's so much more than that. So much more than just getting the money. This client that left us today, they think they're doing us a big favor. Like they'll never refer us. It's like they're doing us a favor to work with them. And to be honest with you, man, like they're not. They're busting our balls, and it's not.
It was a burden.
It was a big time burden, So.
And I was going above and beyond what I should have been.
Right.
And that's partially my fault. So a lot of the times they were expecting much more than they should have. Their expectations were not managed properly.
Yeah, they told us they wanted a 30% increase on their sales. We gave them a 51, and it wasn't good enough.
Right.
So, but that's neither here nor there, right? Like, not everybody's your customer. Simplify your marketing, right? We talked last episode about simplifying your message. This is kind of ties in. Like, simplify your marketing. Don't try to trick people into loving your stuff or liking your stuff, right? Like they're never going to be a good customer. Just have the right message in front of the right person, right?
And take a step back. Look at your customers like we do. We look at our customers on our whiteboard and we figure out that persona of that person that we want to go after. And we know we've been working with them. We've had success with them. We know how to speak to them and we know how to get them results. So the logical answer to that question is go after that person you've already developed.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for e-commerce. Look at your customers. How old are they? Are they women? Are they men? Where
do they live? What country are they from? I mean, what's their demographic? I mean, there's all these different data points that you can use to market your product. But tricking them into buying, it's often there's often gonna be buyer's remorse. And, it's just not going to be a happy customer. It's not going to be a happy person to work with. You're going to get more headaches. You're going to get more returns. People are going to return their products, right? Like you tricked me into buying this because your marketing was so great, and you told me that I would grow more hair or whatever if I used it. It did, whatever. It's like it's only going to beget customers that aren't the right people coming in the door. So get your message in front of the right people, and then having tricky marketing becomes less of a problem. Now, it's funny. Even in this, I was, I don't know if it was in our group or a podcast group that you're in. I'm not really sure, but it's like people who haven't been exposed to Facebook ads as much as we have with multiple niches and clients, they always feel like the success is in the process. Like, can I do a cost per CPM or can I do a CPC first? Or they always feel like the answer is in the process, and oftentimes it's not. Like, you just got to figure out what your customer wants to see and how they want to see it. And you can use all these little things to refine it, but like it's oftentimes not.
Yeah, use the data you already have from your existing clients. Don't try to like reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, we always talk about the 80-20 rule, and then no matter how much you try to get away from it, it always comes back, and it's like that.
Right.
Besides that conversation we had with this client, we're talking about who specifically asked us to go after the 80%. Like,
right.
Well, we're hitting that what works. We're hitting the 20% that works. Well, we should go after the 80%.
Right.
I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now I'm getting personal with it.
Yeah.
Now you're firing me up.
Yeah, relax. I mean,
whatever. It's done.
Yeah. So anyway, simplify your marketing, simplify your message, like last podcast, and don't look at everyone as though they're all your customers or your clients or whatever. They're not. You know, they're just not. I mean, our most successful guy here, who we're doing, he has a water company. We do both of his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like a legend. Like, he goes to all these, like, you know, these things, and they roll out the red carpet. Like, he was serious.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, because he sells so much. That's not all because of us. A lot of it does trickle back down to us and what we're doing for him. So what he told us to do is call my competitors up in different states, not in this state, in different states. Tell them that you're running marketing for me. They'll want to do it with you, no problem. It's just easy.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, we work with so and so up here in New Jersey. You know, we're the marketing firm behind his stuff. How would you like to? You know, he thought that he was just left our office, and thought that you may want to work with us.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just-
simple.
It's that
exactly
simple.
as it. Simplify your marketing.
Simplify your marketing. So
that's cool. We got a little bit of a theme going.
yeah,
Simplify.
yeah. I don't know.
We're telling you to simplify as we've completely complexified our podcast setup with mixers and headphones and microphones.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's complex, but it's not because it works.
It does.
No, like before, we're doing like USB into like one computer, and like you have to like set up an aggregate, whatever. We're getting into all that, but you have to set up all these different things. Like this, there's no settings. It's just like plug it in, download the driver, and you're good.
But we got this for our event that we're going. Well, not our event. The event we're going to be recording our podcast at for Clayvo. I'm wearing a Clayvo shirt right now.
I'm really pumped about that,
you
man.
can see our video. If you see our video, you'll see my Clayvo shirt.
Yeah.
That they sent us, like when we first engaged with them, which was really cool. But they're going to be having this event in Boston. Go to clayvo.com/Boston to get your tickets. And if you go, come up to us. Don't really know where we'll be at this moment, but we'll be somewhere with headphones and microphones. So that'll be us.
We have no idea the details. We have no idea on where we're sitting or who we're like. But all we do know is we're doing it, and Ezra has agreed to come on it, which is pretty cool.
Super pumped. Big opportunity for us.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to learning some shit too while we're there listening to these guys talk.
Dude, just listen to me talk, man. You'll learn a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Oh my god.
There we go. And you can join our Facebook group, ECommerceUncensored.com/Facebook, and we're in there a lot. We're very engaged with you guys, so you can come in, and if you have Clayvo questions, if you decide to sign up, come ask them. Engage with us. Join the conversation.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This has been episode number 82. Check us out at ECommerceUncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later. Bye.